And we're back on our show this Friday. Great to have Lance Harris with us, District 25 rep, back from Baton Rouge and trying to catch up on a lot of things.
That's right. We were able to escape Thursday night. I was hoping the state police rescued us that morning, but they didn't. We stayed
Longest session ever.
It was from February the 14th till just last Thursday without a stop, and it was 19 weeks of good, wholesome fun.
Good, wholesome fun. That's a good way to put it. What do you take from the session?
Well, I take several things. I think that we made some very good progress, and I have to give kudos to the administration and to our chairman of appropriations that we had a budget that we could actually look at the real figures. It wasn't smoke and mirrors. So when that happens, you're able then to start talking about philosophical differences. Instead of arguing the it, you're arguing the why. And that's where a lot of your compromise comes through.
Right.
So I think a lot of that happened. We weren't able to fund everything that the governor wanted, but I think the public needs to remember that that's his target. And we were $360 million. I know he's saying a lot of bad things are going to happen. I don't believe that, because in that target was an inflation growth of 3.5%. So I think that the in balance, everything came in pretty good, and that we are going to see that over the next course of the next several years, we're going to have a pretty well-balanced budget. And we're going to get some tax reform and some spending reform that will come out of this, I hope, so that we don't do this year in and year out. You know.
Seems to, just listening to you, progress was made and we're moving in the right direction.
I believe so, but there is one caveat, and the governor knows it and we know it, that the taxes that we passed $1.5 billion now. When you put federal funds on that, that's almost $2.4 billion that go into this next year. That's a lot of money coming out of people's pockets, but the issue is in 24 months that falls off. So that was set up in order to force the administration and the legislature to talk about tax reform and spending reform. If we don't get it done next year, we've got a huge problem in 2 years that makes this look like a cakewalk. So our goal is to fix it.
So still a lot of work to be done.
It will be a lot of work to be done. And so the budget was one thing. Another good thing that happened, which I was very proud of the state of Louisiana, we passed a Blue Lives Matter bill, which was the press tagged it that, but it was actually including police to the hate crime statute. And I was very excited to see that 100% of the House voted for it. The huge majority, only 2 or 3 nay votes in the Senate, and the governor signed it. We were the first state in the United States that covered our police and our EMS people under that, and it was exciting for us in the state to apply that. Also, we got our Real ID card. We fixed that. Everybody can now get on an airplane if they want to. And I think there was some hyperbole with that, but but that's been fixed. And a lot of other good things I think came out of this session and the 2 special sessions.
Yeah, you seem to be very active down in Baton Rouge.
I am. I'm head of the Republican delegation, so naturally I'm working from can to can't. And believe it or not, but despite what you read in the paper, the governor and I have a good relationship. I met with him privately 2 Thursdays ago and told him I was committed, as was our delegation committed, to doing tax reform and spending reform at the next session, because we know that we have to get those things done in the state of Louisiana, so we're not continually threatening our top students, our hospitals, and that sort of thing. And we know there needs to be some spending reform. Just DHH's budget's up 25.5% this year, almost $2 billion. And they said in appropriations in their testimony that they think there's up to $1.5 billion in fraud every year. So we got to quit taxing people, and we have to look for efficiencies. And that's what we mean by cost, reform and spending reform.
You were talking about compromise, how essential that is.
It is essential. I think, and of course, the press is saying that the Republicans were mean and nasty because the governor didn't get everything. But bear in mind, we're the majority in both houses, and he was able to close the gap by $1.5 billion. And Democrats alone can't do that.
And you can't get everything you want anyway.
Right, exactly. So we were able to stop some of the what we thought were too many taxes on the public, especially at a time when our economy is soft. We don't want to grow government. We want to give our private sector time to catch up and actually pay the taxes that need to be paid to fund the government.
And Lance, can you relax a little bit now over the next few months?
I hope so. I've got meetings today and next week, and we just got in last night, and I'm going to try. So
Thanks for coming by, Lance.
Thank you.
thank y'all for having me. I appreciate
Good to have
it.
you.
Thank you.
More to come on our show this Friday. Stay with us.